Hello and welcome to Decision 2020. It is now 7 p.m. and the following states have poll closings. Out of the state of Indiana, Donald Trump is the projected winner. This is Vice President Mike Pence's home state. Donald Trump is also the projected winner in Kentucky as well as South Carolina. We also have some projections for Vice President Joe Biden as he wins the state of Vermont and the state of Virginia, traditionally a swing state or a lean Democrat state. Joe Biden has won it well over 10 points, which is garnered into the safe category. However, Georgia is too close to call. Donald Trump does have a lead in the state so far, however. Here's the current electoral map thus far. Donald Trump leads 28-16. It is now 7:30 p.m. and the following states have poll closings. And we can only make one projection at this hour, and that is Donald Trump is leading in the state of West Virginia. Or is the projected winner of West Virginia. North Carolina is too close to call with Donald Trump leading in the state. And Ohio, too close to call. Donald Trump is leading in the state. This is traditionally a bellwether state, usually determines the winner of the election. But no Republican has won the state without winning the election. So this is a state Donald Trump needs to win in order to win this election. And Georgia is still too close to call with Donald Trump still leading in the state. Here's the current electoral map thus far. Trump leads 33-16. It is now 8 p.m. We have a giant batch of electoral votes now to call. Donald Trump is the projected winner in the states of Alabama, Mississippi, Missouri, the former bellwether state, as it has been trending heavily to the Republican column more and more. He's the projected winner in Oklahoma and Tennessee. And we do have some calls for Vice President Joe Biden as he wins in the state of Connecticut, his home state of Delaware, the Big Blue, Washington, D.C. He's the projected winner in Illinois, former President Barack Obama's home state. He's the projected winner in Maine's 1st District. However, we have some more information on Maine at large in Maine's 2nd District later. He's the projected winner in Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Rhode Island. However, Florida is too close to call. Donald Trump needs his state to win the election. He's currently leading in it right now. Maine at large, too close to call. Joe Biden is leading in the state. Maine's 2nd District, a district that Donald Trump won by 10 or more in 2016, now too close to call. New Hampshire, too close to call. A state Hillary Clinton won by 3,000 votes. Joe Biden taking a huge lead in the state. Pennsylvania, too close to call. Joe Biden has a lead in his former home state. North Carolina, too close to call. Donald Trump still leading in the state. Ohio, too close to call. Donald Trump leading in the state. Georgia, too close to call. Donald Trump leading in the state. It is now 8:13. We can now make a projection out of the state of Ohio. Donald Trump will win the bellwether state of Ohio, one of the 3 states he needs to win along with Florida and one of the 3 Rust Belt states he won back in 2016. He needs to win one of Wisconsin, Michigan, or Pennsylvania in order to guarantee a victory in this election, as many pundits have said. Here's the current electoral map thus far. Donald Trump leading the race by 94-89 electoral votes. It is now 8:30. We now have poll results out of the state of Arkansas, as Donald Trump will be the winner in Arkansas. No surprise here. And here's the current electoral vote count right now. Donald Trump at 100 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 89 electoral votes. It's 8:32. We can now make a projection out of the state of Maine at large. Joe Biden will win the state of Maine at large. However, Donald Trump will pick up Maine's 2nd District, keeping this district in Republican hands. However, Jared Golden is expected to keep his district blue on the House level. It is now 8:35. We can now make a projection out of the state of New Hampshire. However, Hillary Clinton won this state by a tilt margin in 2016. Joe Biden can now win it by around 7 or 8 points this time around, as New Hampshire has been known to vote against the incumbent party during each election, as this state just hates incumbents for some reason. It is now 8:42. We can now make a projection out of the state of North Carolina. Donald Trump will win the state of North Carolina, a state the Biden campaign hoped to flip this time, as they spent quite a lot of time in North Carolina. However, it wasn't enough, as Donald Trump has kept the state of North Carolina in Republican hands. Here's the current electoral vote count. Donald Trump leading 116 to Joe Biden's 95 electoral votes. Out of the state of Florida, it is too close to call. Donald Trump leads Joe Biden. Pennsylvania, too close to call. Joe Biden leads Donald Trump. Georgia, too close to call. A dead heat between the two candidates, but Donald Trump has a narrow lead in the state. It is now 9 p.m. We now have a huge batch of electoral votes, starting off with Donald Trump's pickups as he projected he won the state of Kansas, Louisiana, Nebraska, all but one district that we'll get to here in a minute. As Nebraska's second is too close to call, Joe Biden has a massive lead in the district, which could give him the district if this stays the same. Donald Trump is the projected winner in North and South Dakota. He's the projected winner in Big Red, Wyoming, which is a state. And we do have some calls for Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the projected winner in Colorado, a state that went to Hillary Clinton by a lean margin back in 2016, but Joe Biden is able to win the state by over 10 points, reason why we're calling it now. He's the projected winner in New Mexico, a state Hillary Clinton won by a likely margin, but New Mexico is seemingly going to vote to the right of Colorado this election cycle. Joe Biden's the projected winner in the former home state of Donald Trump, New York. However, we do have some too close to call states. One is Arizona, too close to call, a dead heat between two candidates. Joe Biden is leading in the state. Michigan, too close to call, Joe Biden leading in the state. Minnesota, too close to call, Joe Biden is leading in the state. Texas, too close to call, Donald Trump is leading in the state. Wisconsin, too close to call, Joe Biden is leading in the state. And here's the current electoral vote count so far. Donald Trump leading this election 143 to 138. Georgia is still too close to call. It's still a dead heat between two candidates. Donald Trump is still leading. It is now 9:15. We can now make a projection out of the state of Florida. Donald Trump will win the state of Florida. It's a lot more lopsided than we had originally thought. Donald Trump is expected to win this state by around 2 to 3 percentage points. A lot more than what he won it by in 2016. He won the state around by 1% last time around. Now he's going to win it by even more. A shocker to many pundits around the country. It is now 9:48. We can now make a projection out of the state of Pennsylvania. One of the first gains for the Democrats here tonight. Joe Biden is the projected winner in his former home state of Pennsylvania. Joe Biden will flip Pennsylvania. And here's the current electoral map. Thus far, Donald Trump leading 172 to 158. Georgia is still too close to call. Joe Biden is now leading in the state of Georgia, which would be amazing. He'd be the first Democrat since Jimmy Carter to win the state of Georgia. If he were, the first Democrat, since Jimmy Carter to win the state, if he were able to win it. It is now 10 p.m. and the following states have poll closings. Donald Trump will win the states of Montana as well as Utah, a state that many pundits thought would be closer, but no, many of the Evan McMullin voters decided to split with Donald Trump this time around over Joe Biden. But we don't have any projections for Joe Biden, but Iowa is too close to call. A former Democrat stronghold now becoming a Republican stronghold. Donald Trump is leading in the state. In Nevada, too close to call. Joe Biden is leading in the state. Here's the current electoral vote count right now. Donald Trump leads 181 to 158. It's a good night so far for Donald Trump, but it's still anyone's race thus far. It is now 10:12. You can now make a projection out of the state of Nebraska, or the district of Nebraska's 2nd district. Joe Biden will heavily flip this district. However, Don Bacon earlier was projected the winner on the House level, but Joe Biden will flip Nebraska's 2nd, flipping it, being the first Democrat to do so since Barack Obama in 2008. However, he wins it by a pretty lopsided margin, winning it by 6 or 7 percentage points, but a flip nonetheless. It is now 10:23. We can now make a projection out of the state of Minnesota. Despite many Republicans saying this was going to be closer due to the Minneapolis riots, many of the people in Minneapolis has voted for Joe Biden despite this, so Joe Biden will win the state of Minnesota here tonight. And here is the current electoral vote map. Donald Trump leads 181 to Joe Biden's 169. Arizona is too close to call. Joe Biden leading in the state of Arizona. If he were to win this state, he'd be the first Democrat since Bill Clinton to win the state. Adam, Michigan is too close to call. Joe Biden leading in the state. Texas, too close to call. Donald Trump leading in the state. Wisconsin, too close to call. Joe Biden leading in the state. Georgia, too close to call. A dead heat between two candidates, but Joe Biden is leading. It is now 11 p.m. We now have some poll closings out of the states below. Donald Trump will be the projected winner out of Idaho, but Joe Biden will win Big Blue, California, and its 55 electoral votes. He'll also win Hawaii, Oregon, and the state of Washington. But it is now 11:32. We now have a projection. We actually have the electoral vote map that we want to update you on, as Joe Biden is leading 247 to 185. California really pushed him over 200 electoral votes right now, as he now holds 247. As Joe Biden needs around 23 more electoral votes in order to win this election. It's 11:09 right now. We can now make a projection out of the state of Iowa. Donald Trump is the projected winner in the state of Iowa, keeping the state red. As many pundits earlier in the night said, this state was going to go lean to tilt R. Donald Trump seems to keep it in the likely Republican column. It is now 11:32 p.m. right now. We can now make a projection out of the state of Texas. Donald Trump is the projected winner in the state of Texas, gaining him 38 electoral votes, a big pickup for the Trump campaign. It is now 11:45. We can now make a projection out of the state of Nevada. Joe Biden is the projected winner in the state of Nevada. Donald Trump hoped to flip this state this year, but he couldn't do it. Joe Biden is the projected winner in Nevada. It is now 12:02. It is now 2 minutes past midnight. We can now make a projection out of the state of Michigan. Joe Biden is the projected winner in Michigan, garnering him a third flip in the night. And here's the current electoral vote map. Joe Biden leading 269 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 229 electoral votes. Joe Biden only needs to win one more state. He needs to win the state of Alaska, Arizona, Wisconsin, or Georgia in order to win this election. Donald Trump needs to win every single one of these states in order to at least tie the Electoral College right now, which would send it over to the House, which it does seem like that Republicans will, or not really, the Democrats hold the majority, but Republicans have more control over the states, which would give the election to Donald Trump. But we now have updates out of the too close to call states. Arizona, too close to call, Joe Biden still leading in the state. Wisconsin, too close to call, Joe Biden leading in the state. And Georgia, too close to call, Joe Biden leading in the state. It is now 1 a.m. We now have a projection out of the state of Alaska, as Donald Trump will win the state of Alaska in its 3 electoral votes. However, Donald Trump, this almost became a likely state, as Donald Trump only won the state by around 10 points tonight. And here's the current electoral vote map, as Joe Biden leads 269 to 232. This is Joe Biden's race to lose at this point. Joe Biden needs to lose every single state here in order for this to go to a contingent election. But it's 1:42, and we now have a major projection as Joe Biden flips another state here tonight, as he will win the state of Wisconsin, making him the next president of the United States. He has been elected the 46th president of the United States, and Donald Trump has said that he will not concede this race, as he already has lawyers stating that there is voter fraud in multiple states that Joe Biden had won. And here's the current electoral map. Joe Biden at 279 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 232 electoral votes. It is now 2:03 in the morning. We now make a call to the state of Arizona. Joe Biden is the projected winner in the state of Arizona. Joe Biden, the first Democrat to do so since Bill Clinton, actually. So Joe Biden will win the state of Arizona. It is now 4:32 a.m. We can now make a big projection out of the state of Georgia. Joe Biden is the projected winner in the state of Georgia, as he will win its 16 electoral votes. Another southern state goes blue here tonight. And here's the final electoral vote map. Joe Biden wins 306 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 232. Funny enough, the exact same margin Donald Trump won by in 2016, but flipped. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is the 2020 election without the wait. So this is the Chaotic One saying, peace.